In this tutorial, I demonstrate how to create, configure, and start a Snowflake Source Connector with the usage of JDBC Source Connector entirely through API calls. In our initial call, we will receive a JWT token, which will be used from all the other calls. And also, for each call, we will go through the variables and check that they are set as expected. For this specific example, a real should be set to acceptance. First of all, we check the URL that is targeting the correct environment and then the parameters. Then we send the request and copy the JWT token. Then we move to group, check that the target name is correct, demo group, and put the token. Also, realm is set to acceptance. Send the request and copy the UID of the target group. Then we move to the next request and replace group ID variable with the actual group ID and move the JWT to bearer token. Also, realm is set to acceptance. Check the rest for the parameters, check the URL, and send the request. This request will create our application. Now we have to search for the UID, copy, and move it to add search request. Replace the parameter, and then we need to find out which is the UID of the target environment. To do that, we will use the environment ID, get environment ID call. So go to this call, replace the token, check the parameters, and check that our target environment is the prod environment. Send the request and search for the UID. Then copy the UID and move it to add search call, replace the parameter, and then send the request. This authorizes our application against the platform manager. So now we want to search for a specific topic, which is named API Snowflake Source Connector. And with this request, we can find the UID of this specific topic. Copy the UID and move it to application access grant. With this call, we can request access for this specific topic in this specific environment for this specific application as producer or consumer. In our case, producer. So replace the variable, add the JWT token, and send the request. This request created an internal object with the request of the permission. So we need to copy this UID and move to another call in order to approve this request. So replace the UID in the URL, add the JWT token, and send the request. Now we approved our access as producer to this specific application for this specific topic. The next step is to configure the connector. So we move to application deployments call, and we need to replace the existing variables. So set the application ID and environment ID. The whole configuration of the connector is predefined for this specific example, but in any other situation, you need also to have a look in the configuration of the connector. So we check that this application now exists in this stage, but it's not configured. So we send the request, then we move back, refresh the page, and the application is now configured. The last step is to start the connector. To do so, we need a specific UID from an internal object. So we need to send a new call to search for the application deployment and get its UID. So we set the parameters for application and environment and send the request. This will return the application deployment, and then we need to search for the UID. Copy the UID and move to start application deployment call. Replace the UID in the URL, add the JWT token as well, and send the request. Now our application is up and running, so we can move to the topic and search for messages. As you can see, there are already some messages in this topic, so we can search for the last 5 minutes. And those are the messages which were fetched from our new application.